Nobody could tell Blessing anything. She was the prettiest girl in the village, and she knew it. Long braids that touched her waist, a smile that could light up a room. But beauty without respect is like a flower with poison roots. Blessing had a twisted orbit that made the elders shake their heads. Every full moon, she would sneak into the cemetery with her friends, climb onto the graves, and dance. Not just dance, she would mock the dead. Look at me, she would shout, spinning on someone's final resting place. I'm alive, and you are just bones in a box. Her friends would laugh nervously, but they followed her lead. Blessing always got her way. Papa Emeka caught her one night. He was the grave digger. Had been for 40 years. His face was carved with wrinkles deep as rivers. My daughter, you better stop, he said, his voice rough as gravel. The dead are not gone. They are just sleeping, and you are about to wake them up. Blessing rolled her eyes. Sleeping? They are dead, Papa. You think death is the end? Papa Emeka stepped closer, and even Blessing's friend backed up. Death is just a door, and you keep knocking on it like a fool. Blessing laughed right in his face. Old man, go and rest. Your stories cannot frighten me. She danced all the way home. 3 days later, Blessing couldn't sleep. Her room felt wrong. Too cold, too quiet. Then she heard it. Someone was knocking on her door at 3 a.m. She crept to the window and looked out. Her blood turned to ice. There were people standing in her compound, dozens of them, but something was wrong with them. They stood too still. Their clothes were old, rotten, and they weren't breathing. Tap, tap, tap. The knocking came again, patient and steady. Then one of them spoke, and Blessing recognized the voice. It was Mama Ngozi, the sweet old woman who used to give her chin-chin. Mama Ngozi had died last year. Blessing, the dead woman called out, her voice like wind through a cracked window. Come and dance with us. You loved dancing on our graves. Now it's our turn. Blessing's leg went weak. She stumbled backward, but the knocking grew louder. We've been so lonely down here, another voice said. This one belonged to Chidi, a boy who had died in an accident. You woke us up with all that noise, all that disrespect, so we came to thank you. Blessing's door flew open, even though it was locked. They came in slowly, one by one. Their movements were stiff, like puppets. Dirt from their clothes with each step. The smell of hurt filled the house. No, 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 Blessing screamed, running for the back door. But when she got there, more of them were waiting, dozens more. Every person whose grave she had danced on. Dance, Blessing, they said together, their voice like a terrible choir. Dance! And then her body started moving on its own. Her legs kicked, her arms swung, her head whipped around. She was dancing, but she couldn't stop. The dead formed a circle around her, watching with hollow eyes. They started clapping, slow at first, then faster. She danced until her feet bled. She danced until she couldn't breathe. She danced until she was crying, begging them to stop. Please, I am sorry. I beg, forgive me. And they just kept clapping. The dead were gone. Blessing collapsed on her floor, gasping and sobbing. Her feet were destroyed, bloody, blistered, barely recognizable. But she was alive. Papa Emeka found her 3 hours later. She had sent for him, barely able to speak. They gave you a warning. Most people don't get that. They could have taken you with them forever, but they are giving you one more chance. What do I do? Blessing's voice cracked. You respect the dead. You honor them. You visit every grave you dance on and apologize. You bring flowers. You say their names, and you never forget that just because someone is gone doesn't mean they are powerless. Blessing kept her promise. It took her 3 months to visit every grave. Her feet never fully healed. She walked with a limp for the rest of her life. She became the quietest person in the village, the most respectful. She taught her own children, the dead are watching, always watching. Treat their resting place like sacred ground. And she never danced again, not once. Remember, you can be the most beautiful, the most popular person alive, but the dead, they've got all the time in the world, and they never forget disrespect.